the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Anra and John Dramani Mahama and Felix Ofosukwachi so Edebabetu Ejase Chief Justice Yamami Gertrude Tokono watimi a suspended no nina a petition mako miensa a ebeka nensa se e was a Chief Justice Nase Akunyana yebeka ya initially no ade se yete se petition no aba beto abonten emansem twefo bebre eka ho asema NDC amanyuko no de ba betu dwa se enye nokre na afei enye se sa petition miensa no a ebeto abonten na nsem twefo eka ho asem se we nye petition was yegina so the Chief Justice no Chief Justice na nkasa mu etimi aba abonten aba be responded with this 3 petitions no a ekoko piemu e wo John Dramani Mahama na baako a osi odi ho eya one se one as a Chief Justice etukwan etimi akwa spend this can no e no che se mi ankasa me pe democrat na expenses nyina enyame e na me the judiciary no e na eye ena enyame nkwan so mpo e na metu kwan other judges no nyina ebi nso etimi etukwan so why me na ode yenko tie wa bra na boache echirichiri
Real a fine Chief Justice me pamono. It is a wutie Minia Mustafa Banda. Oh, Chief Justice, you be pamono. You are easy and eba, you be pamono. National Chairman, you were saying that Janso can be you be pamono. The easy crowd, also pamono, the easy if you say. And this you win in Waya, there na, there be you be pamono. Okay, it's a truck. And yet, on Mahito Kuno. It's an attack on the judiciary. Over magistrates, about circuit court, nominal Baba Besisroha. This will be a show. Say any political issue be a show the Juma. Let Obi, so can petition maybe about Obi acception. The Professor Ferry. The petition be a core. Petition the core na in relation to after marking not some of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court. 5 justices now you know. Say speaker I'm from an small mentino. Yes, it one for the rule of natural justice and Juma. So be here a friend in Now Obi Sabi Uko Supreme Court now justice for 5 in the council. Now, assembly now officer attachment. Obi review now.
Yes.
Mammy, we for Mammy who bear and you know. Yes, a basis for misconduct and incompetence. And the Supreme Court Justice 5 Nina also Minako. And that's mean the same facts, the same case, no. And one Obrani so at the buyer, as if from a shining star. Shining star will be at the buy. The same thing. Obi, and then we are lawyer, papa. Double jeopardy. How can you be tried in a case? Why is the same case, the same fact? FM. Baby, I say, what 2 coin? And now, Shikabia, 260 something thousand for the travel expenses only. Any Nukuno. Obi, we should almost travel policy. And judicial service, I owe from 2010. Our mama in 2019. And you're not going to decide it. And you're deciding the per diem. Judicial Secretary and Director of Finance or more are entitled to 2 holidays. Our Nikulubeko. And official tribunals are entitled to say, Chief Justice Yabema, Obitin Yako. So your back will between Nikunako and any Pabako, either Sokako Bobam or the back and Wako is within the policy. When you now or the one dance Yako. How can this? So now I be a Misha and the Council of State for 124 million be a power more so. And now you know I'm a boom power more so. Madam Betty Modi Drisu. Ya Tony General Pen.
Asempa FM.
Madam, you are the way pana. It's one of my president advice and I say woman advice and one fa but to be to gent no muntimi nka
Enra Sami Nsem-Pii yehu say out of the 31 members on the Council of State no emu bako 30 a vote for say a prima facie has been established and that should be suspended.
And look on the media enti one antono
that one wanka you need
it yam ma me so fa kufu mami ntu wo so bi pa adewe asemwe obi so ba court no chief justice atiatia na ma ye ditini no 2 hours intino and chief justice incompetent Supreme Court case ayedi mo kai se John edu ko edi kwa kotum na nse bi akwa mpo edi yi Supreme Court justices ebetimi no nya kasa amometimi atian omojuma no moye na minya party se ka no plan po mini justice ba fo no kwa fanka position kwa nka menje aga acting kwa nka menje enti papa ba fo boni wadama se pa se ye dia sembi ba se oh woni mommy etu kwan ene se you were mama ba na appointee as ba boni yere to fire service
no,
the prisons
mom yes.
Director General
yes
it now say my lord woni mommy etu kwan ako holidays no bia ba be ka tro sa bia wo ye nkai tutu no eno no constitute a prima facie case against you eno ntino yes so was
but how would Justice Bafuboni Becca say onje because they are
it's an attack on the judiciary.
Yeah, but the
judicial service for me
the arrangement and it's once a CJ is suspended and I say on team in place our rule now the next senior justice on the bench no
problem me say in solidarity and say you bit media you be any asem way
yes
and there some about to jay and some else are tinting hurry and some else are hurry now open up for 1 year you know what the anti-chief justice you bit me the you it was which handsome way
FM
chief justice at Senate as a panel member why in the Juma no constitution is justice emanates from the people. Na justice na continue ya clean na so no the Supreme Court and judiciary in the bisum adada no obi e da dwuma no na obi atwe ho ka ta bi de kwasa no ntie ni bi ama me ka se wo twa fa ne ma wi nyina mu a obi ehu and obi we are not going to sit down. In the coming days, we will announce our actions.
What really can you do, Nanabi?
Oh, Obi, okay. Send the democracy, there are a lot of tools. We will agitate, we will protest. If we have to demonstrate, we have to. Also we have to find who say, you Ramahama, the Timo soon. No person will put down a democracy. Also we have to find say, we are hidden dictator, we are tyrant.
He's a tyrant because
yes.
You follow Article 1.
You can do the own factor. People can hide behind. No, they can say.
Yes.
Hidden or some rebiety. Obi.
And I said, once I would you say, well, follow Mrano. How do you
follow my over my follow?
In the Adena Aquaswa,
I listen to you and
yeah.
Sure. He made some solid points yesterday.
Yes.
And I've heard senior colleagues are winning a unconstitutional. From day one, and I make us all the Obi Shanamano, or what the kind of campaign promise about obeying Chief Justice Lady. What they can't promise that I want to obey President do?
Not in the explicit terms I will put in. No. I don't think he made that point. No, I don't think that he made that point about obeying Nedi. No.
Listen, you will video no unless you have not watched the video.
What I heard in the video, they say they have a problem with the judiciary. Or I can't say or Baba be Chief Justice.
Oh, then you only video in here. Watch out. Also be Chief Justice Eddie. So, yeah, they are open up the show. Oh, yeah, Chief Justice, we are near electoral commission. So, if you we are seeing in there who say, last time, yeah, who pay. So, what be, and we are saying the Casako. Maybe I think you.
Yeah, Banana. I mean, said Yawokana, the president personally might have unknown reasons for doing A or doing B. And that's why the Constitution says, if a CJ it was say on a Council of State and a Edijuma. He has gone through that process. Council of State members 31, people of high repute, Obia, a big man in his or her own right, and more or more. So it is a woman
Etia near Abia Council of State for me because some other can answer.
Yes.
Meeting as no be.
Yes.
It you know, men pass them no on because these are eminent persons.
Yeah, of course. I've gotten information. Say
I dream pocket.
The only
no president
the only person who abstained from the vote, per my information, no, former Chief Justice Sophia Akufo-Pene abstained here. All the others voted for.
Okay, Obi, and I may say.
Yes.
President. Oh no. Na dream pon ni susu nya no we di kan adam edi da.
Asempa FM.
Enti say obefa kwan bi so na ya tie say ene omu nyina say yimku ni say no e o masem. Ba be die. Se wo hwe atentenfo nsem ya ba beto dwa. Na wo hwe ono ana dream po. Na wo hwe aya o fa so ye ne nyama. Obi, we know a dangerous precedent. Yeah, we are actually being near the Kamasam.
Yes.
And I think that position you took must be espoused. And I think you were very fair. I was cut you across with you. Also, cut you with me. And if we pray, go more, yeah. It will meet me, I know. Live telecast
and until the constitution is amended, unless we amend the constitution.
Okay. I mean, come on, because I did a cost with you. Could be able to say, I didn't. And maybe I'm very sure say petition when you're back in Kayana.
Oh, yeah, I've gotten a petition and the responses. See the responses to all the allegations.
Be ready, and I know you need to be very fair. To what kind of idea you say?
FM.
Let me reserve my opinions to myself.
Obi, when you come on my boy.
And I saw you me. I spoke here.
One can be.
No, mine, no, don't cry.
Oh, my here now, no, you all can ask them giddy now. Now, but you as a lawyer, very intelligent lawyer, I'm basically me too. And I'm saying, Mr. Go and listen to the entire tape yesterday. Oh, no, Mr. One bikini. Okay, you all can and on the cherry pitching.
The video is out there already, and I mean, don't put me on the spot.
Okay, because that is so if you are already said you can re-echo it today.
No, and no, I made the point. Say, I wish what has happened never happened. If you listen to me, I made that point quite clear. Say, because it involves the head of an arm of government, and I wish we did not get here. But of course,
okay.
I mean
that is a very good point. But I mean, we not petition became kind. Why do you say?
And no, me say I will reserve that.
I didn't more. I say why do so? Me so come so crowd can now. I'm very sure, but I don't want to say it. I'm very sure. I'm very sure. So I can now.
I was using money given to me for lunch to buy newspapers. The newspaper vendor knew my house, and my mom will always be crying that they are making me starve. And at the time, I'd become very lanky as a result because I used to starve and read newspapers. A lot of struggle have gone into this democracy that we should not yield certain freedoms, right, and protections in the Constitution on the platter of gold. Paul, we have to be careful. We have to be careful. I think that Justice Tokonu owes our forefathers who fought for the 1992 Constitution a duty to fight for her office.
Fight for her office?
Yes. You see, When I refer
the office doesn't belong to her.
No. Fight for her office, meaning that she's the occupant of that office today. That's what I mean, Paul. You see,
So she must bring an action to court.
She herself must mount the action.
In persona.
In personam. She shouldn't
As a suspended Chief Justice.
Yes. Paul, let me say this.
To challenge the suspension.
Yes, she has to.
In the Supreme Court.
Because, Paul, you see, when you are bequeathed an inheritance, don't you fight for it?
You do.
And so when you have been given an office, knowing where we have come from, don't you think it should be fought for?
Well, I have some friends of hers say that she might not submit herself to the in-camera process. She wants a public hearing. Is that allowed under the Constitution?
Well, that would be a breach of the Constitution. But the last time a publication of the petition was done in the dairy matter, the Supreme Court even though said that, yes, it might have flouted the constitutional provision for an in-camera hearing, it still did not negate or invalidate the proceedings. And so it may well not be considered to be unconstitutional, dependent on how the Supreme Court looks at it. But Paul, you see, we all have a duty to fight to protect the Constitution. We don't have to politicize our judiciary, right? Paul, if we go
Somebody
on
will say that you were in town, not yet a member of parliament, when Akufo-Addo sacked Sh0cks.
Paul, Sh0cks is more or less, let me say, my friend, right? She fell on a sword by her own colleagues in office.
That therefore justifies the removal of Sh0cks.
No, she fell on that sword, right?
But they applied the constitutional processes to file an impeachment against her.
You cannot compare Sh0cks' office as EC chair to that of the CJ.
Definitely, I agree with that.
We are referring to the head
You know, I was making a point. When all the political systems fall, from December 7th up until January 6th, and everything falls, the Chief Justice that remains.
Paul, do you remember?
When we go to the Independence Square for the inauguration, the only available leader in the country is the Lord Chief Justice.
That is why we need to begin to highlight the history of this country to all those who are on social media insulting some of us. It is not about Madam Gertrude Tokonu. It's not about her. It's about democracy. It's about constitution. Do you remember the case of Sh0cks Shackelford?
I don't remember the details, but I remember the title.
By the late Krantinado, who was one of the judges that were killed, right? The martyrs of our democracy. At the time she determined Sh0cks Shackelford, there was no constitution.
That's interesting.
There was no constitution.
So it comes out of natural law.
The courage of some of our judges, I wouldn't say all of them, Paul, anyone who has seen me in court, right, would say I should be the last person defending our judges. I've always had brushes with our judges. I've always. You cannot be...
You are proud of that?
Yes, you cannot be a strong litigator.
This is a barrister you are having brushes with judges?
You cannot be a litigator, right, very respectfully, worth your salt, if you cannot stand your grounds. And everybody...
Against the bench?
Of course. It happens every now and then. It happens every now and then. Look, you saw Thaddeus Sorry against Tokonu, Justice Tokonu.
Yeah.
Thaddeus by far is one of the best lawyers in this country. You cannot be a litigator worth your salt if you cannot stand your grounds against a judge. Very respectfully, we don't fight. It's just you standing your grounds intellectually.
But you're saying that this point is about institutions. It's not whether a judge is good, judge is bad. So you say once somebody has become Chief Justice, the person can do anything they want.
No, you can remove the Chief Justice.
But that's what they are doing.
Paul, what she be removed for?
We don't know. Some petition.
You don't know?
Yeah.
What has she been suspended for?
Because a prima facie case has been found, and the law says that when a prima facie case has been found, the president may, in his discretion.
What went into the consideration of discretion?
That's where your point is valid. So
Exactly.
there has to be predictability.
Exactly.
Because people don't know. Otherwise, somebody who doesn't like a Chief Justice
when you look at,
just gets a petition,
when you look at Article 296 of the Constitution, the only exception is for judges, right, and judicial officers. It doesn't include the Chief Justice. It doesn't include the President. And so somebody might say the President is exercising a discretion, is the President of the country. No, the President is regulated by the Constitution of the land. And I am saying that we need to be careful. I am not fighting for Tokonu, Justice Tokonu. I am fighting for our Constitution, especially against the backdrop of